Hey guys, what's happening? Jay here. This is smarthelping.com. We've got a new joint venture waterfall to do. Waterfall logic is probably one of the most difficult things to model if you don't do it regularly. I ran across my first one in 2000 and I think 18, so what, 8 years ago, and it took me a while to understand it. And once I figured it out, I'm like, wow, a lot of clients are going to need this work. It's really, you can do it in like one tab in Excel, but the logic to do it is difficult. And I've got a dozen of these different frameworks, and I try to hit the most common deal structures, but there's always different ones. And so this is another different one. It's still based on LPGP, but we have a structure where the investor pool is going to have individual investors that might not have a preferred return if they have not invested a certain amount. So that's the main difference here. So in general, throughout the model, you can update or edit any cells in yellow. The whole model is editable, all the formulas, but if you don't want to break anything, just update the cells in yellow. It goes up to 10 years. And so we start in this investors tab. We have up to 35 investors. You put their investment amount, and then here's your threshold. So that means any investor that invests at least 250,000 is going to get part of this preferred return here of 7%. It's not paid right away. And I'll talk about the general structure of this waterfall and how it's working in a second. But that's the pref. It's accrued and paid at whatever the exit is. Exit year is here, and the user is just going to be entering the possible distributable cash flows here in row 10. Actually, it's not really built for any further investment after the initial one. So let me put a square here. So any investor over 250,000 in this case is going to get a 7% accrued pref. And you can see those people, obviously, their IRR is going to be higher than the ones that do not meet that, just because it's more cash flows. Otherwise, everything else would be held equal. So you can see different IRRs, different equity multiples based on the investments. And this is the entire LP pool, separate from the GPs. There's an option for the GP to contribute some of the capital here. But as far as the total investments from the LP and GP, it's just going to be a function of however much you've raised here, plus the GP capital here, and then these percentages are now going to be defined based on that. So these are not inputs, since we're manually defining the investments of all the different LP, individual LPs, or participants within the LP pool. Okay, so that's a little bit different. I've never really done a structure like this with, usually it's just a single input for LP and GP, but this is a little bit deeper for individual investors only because we have this kind of threshold where, you're basically encouraging investors to invest more per individual. And they're incentivized to do that because now they're going to get a pref of some percentage that's accrued. It's not compounded, so we're just accruing whatever the percentage is each year. It's not compounding, and it's just paid out in year 10, whatever that percentage ends up being for all those investors over the threshold. Um, so let's just talk about the general, now that you kind of see how it's made up, the general deal structure here. So it's set up so that all the capital of the LPs, no matter if they have the preferred or they're non-preferred investors, all of this capital here is repaid 100% before any cash goes anywhere else. And that's including the pref. You'll see in other waterfall models I've done, usually, like for a given year, you'll have a pref paid first, and then remaining amounts beyond that, if there are any for that year's cash flow, will go towards paying off the capital invested. But now, this is not the case. We're saying 100% of the capital is repaid first, accruing a pref, and then once the entire initial investment for the LPs are paid back, then we pay the pref due on exit, and after that, we split cash at a new rate, and that's where the GP is going to come in. and there'll be an 80-20 split in this case, but you could define that however, and then the GP will get an amount. Now, you could do a 10-year model, you could do 5-year. You just have to adjust your cash flows up here. All this exit year is going to change is basically how long the accrued pref goes for. All these other values, you'll once you manually change this, you have to go 0, 0, 0, and then for year 5, maybe whatever exit you think there'll be. And then you can see here's the pref being paid, remaining for cash flow for. So first, here's the capital repayment. So if you sum up that equals 4,025,000. Here's 4,025,000. After that is paid off, you then have an amount paid to the pref. After that, you now have a remaining amount to distribute to the GP and LP splits. So here we're saying investors will get a 80%, GPs will get 20. You can adjust these percentages. Um, it's very uncommon that you'll have enough cash flow here to make the capital repayment before exit. It's probably 99.9% of cases on exit. That's when you'll be able to finish repaying the initial investment off and then have distributions beyond that. Let's say you didn't, I don't know, maybe there's a refi, and we had an event here where we were able to pay off the full amount. In that case, let's see what the model does here. I think it's okay. We're basically just, so we had 5 million here. We're saying the pref is getting, so the full 5 million distributed, so that's fine. Actually, yeah, that would work fine. If you have, let's say, it'd basically be if there was a refi. You can have a full capital repayment, but that pref is still going to go to the exit, so you'd have to like put this to year 3, and then you'd stop the pref, assuming you paid back the capital, so no more pref is due. Okay, fine. Now the only thing that's going on beyond that is then distributions of the 80-20 split, which is perfectly fine. That's how this should work, and then you get the rest. And then here's the final splits. I don't know if I should highlight this in like a different, maybe put it in like green. I don't like that. Maybe that's a decent color. This is the important box here. This is where you're actually seeing, maybe we bold this as well. This is the cash flow to the preferred class. This is the cash flow to no preferred class, and cash flow for the GP. So if you can somehow pay back the total capital earlier, well, now the GP is going to start to get a little bit of a carry earlier. The pref will stop. Investors are happy because they got their money back, and they are still getting some percentage here, which can be adjusted. So there's no IRR hurdles here. The pref is accrued. It's not compounding. But again, this is just another type of deal I came across, and it seems like people might want to model this, so it can be useful and repeatable. As another possible tool in your toolbox for different deals you might want to do and explain. The main thing here is you can explain to investors how this works and demonstrate with cash flow. And it's a lot easier for them to see what's happening rather than if you just told them everything and they couldn't see an example. This makes it easy to see. So I'm actually quite satisfied that that worked out because I didn't test this if there was like the total capitals were paid earlier. And yeah, I think that works fine. You just have to adjust the exit year. It'd be basically a liquidity year, and you're just saying that this is when the preferred return will stop accruing and is out. So you'll just want to make that whatever year the full capital repayment is made of the initial investments from the LPs. And yeah, this is where you'll see cash flow going for each one, and then we break these two rows up into, so you can see that totals 10,991,000. If we go here, this should be 10,991,000, which it is. So that's coming from just this total list here. We've automatically separated the investors into their different pools. This is all automatic. And then we can see IRRs of each class and equity multiple here. So that's awesome. I'm actually quite pleased with that. I'll put this back to, let's just put it to a 10-year hold with the exit in year 10. Alrighty. Now these distributions are obviously going to be based on the underlying operating company. You'll just have to put them in here. This logic is mainly just to define what happens after you distribute, or when you have an amount to distribute and you have the structure underlying the operating entity, what happens, where the cash flows go with this. And the whole thing is you're starting this off by going to investors and saying, hey, if you invest over this amount, you get a pref. If you don't, you don't get a pref. Um, and that's kind of your go-to strategy. What you're using this spreadsheet to do is explain how it works, whether they're above or below the threshold. And here's the potential returns based on what we think whatever they're investing in can produce over up to a 10-year period. Again, you can adjust the pref here, the carry. But yeah, I like this is a different way to do it, but still interesting. I'd call it like, so I'm going to label this accrued preferred with investor threshold. And if you want to purchase a template to use, you can do that over at smarthelping.com. This will be specifically in the joint venture waterfalls section only. I'll probably put it up for 45 bucks, one-time fee. You can buy it, or if you want all of these different ones, you can buy the whole bundle for $199 and get, like I said, I've got, well, over a dozen here for different structures, different styles. These are all useful. They've all been used by different people. So check it out. If you want more operating style, you can go to the real estate section, and this is more underlying assumptions where you're going to produce or figure out how your revenue and expenses happen. And then same with, like, if you want to go zoom way out, you can go to the financial models tab, and I've got models for all kinds of businesses here, not just real estate. These are a lot of three-statement modeling outputs with different bottom-up assumptions. I've also done a lot of work in the software as a service and recurring membership-based industry. A lot of models for that. Real estate, I showed you. Here's a joint ventures. This is where the model I just talked about today is going to go into. General business valuation tools. Some good ones here. The exit readiness scorecard I thought was interesting. That was one I built a year or two ago. But lots of different things here to look at. Accounting templates, HR tools. If you want everything, and this is what a lot of long-term clients will do, you can just go to the Super Smart Bundle here on the sidebar. Click on that, and you can get everything I've ever built for 500 bucks. That includes a lifetime license, so if I build stuff in the future, do updates, and that goes over all the bundles. If I ever update the bundle or add stuff to it, you get access to that without having to pay anymore if you've bought the bundle. If you bought individual templates and they're updated, you also do get that for free. Just say, hey, I bought this, I'll check it, and then just send you the refreshed latest download link. When you go to buy anything, you'll be taken to you'll have a download. It'll be emailed to you and available right within the web browser to download as well. So that's it. Like and subscribe, and hopefully you like this framework, this new waterfall, and I'll see you guys on the next one.